Welcome back to 5-Minute Bible Study. Today is my take on Matthew 5:17-20. So I'll read that first and then we'll go from there. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. FYI, I would usually skim over this part because I would never really know what it meant, so I wouldn't read it. But I didn't allow myself to skip anything. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law, until everything is accomplished. Anyone who breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. And so, let's begin. So first he is saying, okay, so I'm not here to say that I'm getting rid of the Old Testament, that I'm getting rid of what God said before. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's perfect, just like God is. But it is impossible for humans to live out. So I'm here, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to obey it, and I'm going to do what the prophet said would happen. I'm not negating their prophecy. I'm not saying the prophecy wasn't valid. Nothing like that. Instead, I'm actually proving that they were right and that God is faithful. And then I like that he says, I promise, Jesus, I promise that this is the truth. Until there is only heaven and hell and no more earth, not even an A or an I or a comma will be crossed out of the Old Testament. It will be as true on the last day of the earth as it was on the first day of the earth. It will stay in place until every word and every promise has taken place, because God is faithful. But anyone who tries to take anything out, even just an A or an I or a comma, anyone who doesn't follow it and tells other people that they don't have to follow it either, that person will be the smallest, most insignificant being in God's eyes. If you're telling people that they don't need God's word in their life. But if you don't doubt and you believe the Old Testament to be written in stone, and you do your part to try and follow it, and if you encourage and teach others to do the same, you will be called great by God. You will be great in God's eyes because you're directing people more to God instead of telling them they don't need Him. And then I like it that he says it again. I'm telling you, me, God's Son, if you don't obey the Old Testament to the T, to the very last mark, if you don't obey it to perfection, which, if you did, you'd be doing better than the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, who keep acting like they already live it perfect, but I can tell you that they don't. If you don't obey to a T, if you don't obey to perfection, you won't be in God's presence for Him to see you or commend you or reward you or anything. That's a high demand. And I'm a perfectionist. And he's saying, well, if the Old Testament is all we've got, and if it's all we're ever going to have, you're screwed, because you're not going to be able to be perfect. So I guess it's a cliffhanger. Because we need a solution to that problem. We need a solution to not being able to be perfect.